one of the most common things that I've come across, people are unwilling to take risk, and I think this is built into us since child. So we are very much growing up in environments where our parents and they got it from their grandparents, etc. So it's really come from generational obstruction, really, from our mindset about taking risks. Now, think about somebody who is already coming from a family who's already been in business and taking risk and investment and everything else. They are teaching their children a very different way of actually growing up, and what to do with their lives and their investments and how to make money. But the majority of people are coming from working class background with mom and dad working normal working class jobs, or even middle class jobs, whatever. But they're having jobs, so that mindset is still very much, look, save, 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 pay your debt down, and then in the future you're going to have a better life. Whereas I want to change this mindset to get people to think about, take risks, take calculated risks, understand the risks you're taking, but you've got to take them. The less risk you take, the less likely you're going to have a decent kind of lifestyle that you think you should have. Because ultimately it's about risk and reward. The more risk you are willing to take, the more likely you're going to hit on something that actually really works, and then that is going to then produce the income or the profits that you need to have a better life. So I think if there's one thing that I think today you should think about is, what is your mindset about risk and your mindset about risk taking? Are you willing to take more risk on? Can you think of things that you can actually do better today, that you can actually take an extra step towards risk taking? That could be read a book about investment. That could be talk to somebody about an investment opportunity. That could be looking into stocks and shares. How does that work? Look into the property investment. How does that work? Where is the money made? If you don't want to buy the assets, so you obviously Equity Capital, we also do fixed income. So you can invest with us, and we pay you a percentage on your capital. So you get a fixed income. You're taking a risk, so you're putting an investment in a bond, in a share, in Equity Capital. That's all risk, but it's mitigated by, for example, your fixed income will be collateralized against assets like properties. A share is actually collateralized against the company. A Coca-Cola share is actually collateralized against the company. So there is risk, but there are risks that is, you buy something and you don't know, you buy a Trump coin, for example, the Bitcoin thing. That's a risk. I mean, Jesus Christ, that is quite an unmitigated risk, because this probably would go bust. But if you're buying an asset, or you're investing in assets, that is also still in our traditional mind is taking a risk, because we're not just getting a paycheck here. It's not a guaranteed paycheck, but ultimately the risk you're taking is actually a calculated one. You are understanding where that money is going to go. Is that likelihood of making a profit from that venture, whether it's shares, gold, properties, whatever investment that you think of doing? So you can really think about it. So today, just think about your own mindset about risk taking. How do you think about it? Can you start to think about changing and moving towards, stop sitting with cash in bank, because that's the worst thing you can do. Inflation takes a chunk out of it, then you are also missing the opportunity of making a return. So if we're paying 10% return on your money and inflation is 5, that means you are still making a 5% return on top that you would not have had. Whereas if inflation is 5%, you'll have £100,000 in the bank. Next year it's worth less than £100,000. It's actually, £95,000. Although people find it hard to get their head around. They say, no, I can still see £100,000 here. But the point here is the buying power of that 100,000 goes down to 95,000. So you lose your buying power by at least £5,000. If inflation was like 18 months ago was 12%, you were losing 10 to 12% on your money in the bank. So please think about risk. Think about how that works. Think about yourself. How do you think about risk? And can you start to think about changing your mindset around risk?